If a recruiter asks you, tell me about yourself, and you start talking about where you studied, every job you ever had, or you're just listing technologies, you're already making a mistake, because this question is not about your life story. It's about positioning yourself for the job. And surprisingly, many developers answer this question in a way that weakens the interview from the very beginning. So let's break down how to answer it properly. Almost every developer interview starts with this question: tell me about yourself. And many candidates think it's just small talk. But it's actually one of the most important questions in the entire interview. Why? Because your answer sets the tone for everything that comes next. A good answer makes the interviewer think, this person sounds exactly like what we need. A weak answer makes the interview harder for the rest of the conversation. Interviewers ask this question to understand three things very quickly. First, what kind of developer you are. Are you mainly backend, front-end, full-stack, infrastructure focused? Second, what your main experience is. What problems have you worked on? Not just technologies, but real work. And third, why you might be a good fit for this role. They want a short professional summary. Think of this answer as your personal headline. Not your biography, not your full CV, just the most relevant highlights. Most developers fail this question for one simple reason. They think the interviewer wants information, but the interviewer actually wants clarify and positioning. For example, some developers start like this. Well, I started programming in school, then I went to university, then I had an internship, and 5 minutes later the interviewer still doesn't know what kind of developer you are, what you're good at, what you want next. And that's the problem. Your answers should make the interviewer understand you in the first 30 seconds. A strong answer usually has three parts. First, who you are professionally, your role and level. For example, I am backend developer with 6 years of experience. Immediately the interviewer understands your profile. Second, your main experience, what you actually worked on. For example, backend systems, APIs, high traffic platforms, microservices, data pipelines. Focus on problems you solved, not just tools. And third, what you're looking for next. This shows motivation and direction. For example, more system design, more ownership, large-scale systems, product development. This part connects your experience with the role you're applying for. Here is an example that works well for a backend developer. I'm a backend developer with around 6 years of experience, worked mainly on distributed systems and backend services. In my recent roles, I've been focused on building APIs and services that handle large amount of data and traffic. For example, in one of my recent projects, I worked on improving the performance of a service that processed thousands of requests per minute by optimizing database queries and introducing caching. I also enjoy working on system design and improving architecture as systems scale. Recently, I've been looking for opportunities where I can take more ownership in designing backend systems and contributing to architectural decisions, which is why this role caught my attention. This answer works well because it's clear, structured, relevant, focused on impact. And it takes less than a minute. Let's look at the biggest mistakes. Mistake 1. Your life story. Some candidates explain their entire career timeline. But interviews are not documentaries. The interviewer already has your resume. Your job to summarize the important parts. Mistake 2. Listing technologies. A common answer sounds like this. I know C#, JavaScript, Python, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS. This doesn't tell the interviewer anything meaningful. Technologies are tools. What matters is what you build with them. Mistake 3. Being too generic. Some answers are so vague that they apply to anyone. For example, I like solving problems and working in teams. That's not useful. Every candidate says that. Mistake 4. Talking too long. Your answer should be 30-60 seconds. If you're speaking for 3 minutes straight, you're probably saying too much. There is one thing that instantly makes an answer sound more senior: impact. Junior and middle developers usually describe tasks. Senior developers describe results. For example, instead of saying I worked on APIs, say I designed and improved APIs used by several services. Instead of I work with databases, say I optimize database queries for a high traffic system. That small shift makes your experience sound much stronger. Here is a simple formula you can remember before any interview. Present, experience, direction. Who you are today, what you worked on, what you're looking for next. If your answer includes these 3 things, you will sound clear and professional. So, strong tell me about yourself answer should include your role and experience, your main technical focus, your impact on your work, why this role interests you. And ideally, it should take less than a minute. Think of it as your professional headline. This was one more real interview question. If you want to get better at developer interviews, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next job offer.